Whispers in the Night, a family's unsettling resort encounter. Every summer, my family embarked on the tradition of taking yearly vacations to different hotels and resorts. This particular year, the getaway took a sinister turn that would etch a chilling memory into the fabric of our family's history. It was supposed to be a time of relaxation, but little did we know, the ominous shadows of danger lurked within the confines of our chosen resort. The day began like any other vacation day, the sun shining, the promise of water park adventures ahead. My wife and I lounged by the pool, while our two little boys frolicked in the water park adjacent to it. The laughter of children and the distant echoes of splashing filled the air as we soaked in the warmth of the day. However, this idyllic scene would soon crumble into a nightmare. After a few blissful hours, we decided to retreat to our room to prepare for an evening dinner outing. As I rose and began the search for our boys, a disconcerting encounter unfolded. The older one, Sam, informed me that Alan was on the other side of the water park, engaged in conversation with a child and his apparent parents. A quick introduction and an awkward silence ensued before I retrieved Alan, feeling an unsettling discomfort lingering in the air. Later that night, the unease escalated when Alan revealed that the boy's family had invited him for dinner. A red flag waved, questioning the intentions of strangers inviting a child without consulting his parents. My wife and I decided to keep a watchful eye and maintain a distance from the peculiar family. Returning to our room after a brief dinner outing, we encountered the eerie sight of Alan's new friend and his mother waiting for the elevator. The uncomfortable encounter intensified our concerns, leaving us bewildered. Back in the safety of our room, we sternly instructed Alan to avoid the family without our presence. As the night settled, our efforts to unwind were marred by an unsettling awakening. Sam shook me awake, whispering urgently that Alan was talking to someone at the door. A surge of panic propelled me to the scene, where I found Alan attempting to unlock the door, a faint voice emanating from the other side. The adrenaline-fueled confrontation revealed a fleeting figure sprinting down the hall. In a rage, I pursued the stranger, determined to unmask the potential threat. However, the mysterious figure eluded capture, disappearing into the shadows of the hallway. Returning to our room, we decided to report the incident to the hotel staff, only to discover the limitations of their response. With no hallway cameras and no tangible proof, we were left with a chilling realization: our family's safety had been compromised, and the malicious intentions of the strangers went unpunished. In the aftermath, the best the hotel could offer was a refund for the remaining days, prompting our relocation to another resort miles away. The unsettling feeling of helplessness lingered, knowing that those who had potentially sought to harm our child were free to continue their sinister pursuits. As a parent, the knowledge that someone had targeted my child for possible abduction remains a haunting scar. The inability to bring the perpetrators to justice is a bitter pill to swallow, and the fear persists that they may be out there, preying on unsuspecting children. The shadows of that night continue to cast a pall over the innocence of family vacations, a stark reminder of the lurking dangers that can mar even the sunniest of days. Chronicles of the Unsolved, a hotel security guard's nightmare. In my late 20s, I found myself navigating the shadows of a sleepless Las Vegas night as a security guard in an imposing hotel. The erratic schedule, bouncing between the morning, evening, and overnight shifts, wreaked havoc on my circadian rhythm. Nevertheless, the allure of a substantial paycheck kept me tethered to the role. Yet, the true challenge lay not in the schedule but in the uncanny events that unfolded within the hotel's labyrinthine corridors. On one particularly mysterious night, the clock's hands inched closer to midnight, and I found myself engrossed in casual banter with two co-workers at the front desk. The phone on the desk shadowed the mundane atmosphere, its insistent ring casting an unsettling aura in the dimly lit lobby. Glancing at the caller ID, I noticed it emanated from one of the hotel rooms. Answering, I was met with the frantic voice of a man, his urgency palpable even through the phone's crackling receiver. He claimed something nefarious was transpiring in a nearby room, urging me to hasten to the scene. Assuring him that security was on the way, I hung up, concealing the fact that security constituted only myself. I relayed the unnerving call to my coworkers, who exchanged wary glances, mirroring the unease creeping through the air. As the clock continued its relentless march towards midnight, I embarked on the solitary journey to the elevators, ascending to the mid-level floor where the enigmatic call had originated. The atmosphere on that floor was saturated with an eerie silence, an unsettling prelude to the inexplicable events that awaited me. Expecting to encounter the source of the disturbance, I ventured down the dimly lit corridor. However, all that greeted me were closed doors standing sentinel in the profound quiet. The hallway seemed suspended in an otherworldly stillness, amplifying the disquiet that had settled within me. Approaching the designated room, I knocked with a sense of trepidation, my voice announcing my presence echoing through the corridor. No response. Undeterred, I pressed on, walking to the end of the hallway in a futile attempt to discern any abnormal sounds. The emptiness persisted, a haunting void that seemed to defy the laws of acoustics. Returning to the door, I knocked again, only to be met with the same unsettling quiet. As my bewilderment deepened, a neighboring door creaked open, revealing a trembling elderly woman. Her eyes mirrored the terror that lurked within, and, identifying myself as hotel security, I inquired about the strange noise. She spoke of earlier disturbances, a sense of foreboding clouding her expression. Unease morphed into dread as I radioed the front desk to call the room once more. No answer. The lingering silence punctuated the uncertainty that gripped the corridor. Perplexed, I instructed them to scrutinize the guest list for the room, and their response sent shivers down my spine. Nobody had booked that room for the night. The enigma deepened, tendrils of unease snaking through the corridors of my consciousness. Clutching my security key card, I cautiously opened the door, revealing a room untouched, a spectral echo of vacancy. My search yielded no tangible clues, except for the phone. Flipping it over, I noted the serial number, a cryptic artifact in this unfolding enigma. Hurrying back to the lobby, I cross-referenced the serial number with security records, unraveling a chilling truth. An active call had been made from that room to the front desk, the same call I had answered a mere 15 minutes earlier. The room was unoccupied, yet someone had orchestrated that haunting call. Days later, the perplexing incident escalated when a guest on the same floor was reported missing. Security footage painted a haunting picture, the missing person leaving the hotel alone a few hours before the mysterious call. A disconcerting connection lingered in the shadows, an ethereal thread binding the inexplicable events. The investigation unfolded into a labyrinthine enigma, and to this day, the missing person remains an elusive specter, haunting the memories of that enigmatic night. The echoes of that inexplicable night still resonate, a spectral mystery casting its shadows across the hallways of that enigmatic hotel. Locked in fear, the hotel intruder's silent visit. During a business trip last year, a seemingly routine stay at a hotel spiraled into a chilling encounter that continues to haunt my thoughts. The hotel, though smaller than most, presented a facade of comfort when I arrived. With 30 to 40 rooms spread across 3 modest stories, it appeared quaint and inviting. Little did I know, the confines of this seemingly innocuous lodging would soon play host to an unnerving tale. My assigned room, perched on the top floor, was reached via the creaking elevator. As I strolled down the dimly lit hallway, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I deposited my bags by the door and fumbled for the room key in my pocket. Just as I did, the door of the adjacent room swung open, revealing a stranger. With a gesture of hospitality, he extended a hand, introducing himself as my temporary neighbor. Bewildered, I shook his hand, shared my name, and retreated into my room. It struck me as peculiar that someone would emerge solely to greet a fellow transient inhabitant, but I dismissed it as a quirky idiosyncrasy. The night descended swiftly, and wearied by travel, I planned an early retreat to the sanctuary of my bed. After a quick shower, I extinguished the lights and lay in the darkness, However, the tranquility was shattered when the neighbor's door creaked open. A shadow passed my doorway, pausing momentarily before proceeding down the hall. A chill crawled down my spine, and though unsettled, I dismissed it as an oddity, attributing it to the eccentricities of strangers in shared spaces. Securing my door, I returned to an uneasy sleep. The following day unfolded with work obligations, steering my attention away from the disconcerting events of the previous night. It wasn't until my return to the hotel at 10 p.m. that the eerie unease resumed its grip. Tossing my work bag onto the bed, I sought refuge in the shower, hoping to wash away the day's fatigue. Yet, as the water splashed around me, a distinct beep echoed through the room, the electronic door lock unlocking. It was too late for housekeeping, and dread tightened its grip as I pondered the implications. The stranger from next door loomed in my thoughts, but the keycard dilemma perplexed me. How could he unlock my door? Fear paralyzed me as the door creaked open, footsteps traversing the room. With the shower drowning out any audible protests, the intruder seemed oblivious to my presence. A sense of vulnerability enveloped me, and I hesitated, uncertain of the stranger's intent. In an instant, the room fell silent. Desperation clawed at me, and without my phone, I resolved to call for help. Stepping out of the shower with trepidation, I dressed quietly, ensuring the door was locked. Pressing my ear to the bathroom door, I discerned faint sounds of rummaging. Helpless and frozen with fear, I grappled with the unknown motives of the intruder. Silence descended, and with no recourse, I decided to call for aid. A barrage of desperate knocks reverberated through the room, accompanied by shouts for help. The intruder's panicked footsteps retreated into the hallway. Hastily securing the door, I retrieved my phone and dialed 911, my trembling hands betraying the fear that still gripped me. By the time the authorities arrived, the intruder had vanished, leaving behind an unsettling void. Subsequent investigations led to his apprehension in a car a few hours later, yet justice remained elusive. The lack of concrete evidence obscured his motive, leaving an unsettling uncertainty in its wake. The shadow of that inexplicable night lingers, a testament to the chilling encounter in a hotel that concealed more than its modest exterior suggested.